close this afternoon on my mortgage protection in-home. Before I get started, I wanted to go through 5 key things to write down and to look for. Number 1, my psychology. The things that I say and why and when I say them. Number 2, my simplicity. Keeping the process super simple and understandable and communicating that to the clients. Number 3, my listening. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Be a great listener so you can have the clients tell you what they want, which essentially helps sell themselves. Number 4, your credibility. Credibility is about your posture, your body language, how you present yourself in the house, how you communicate the great carriers that you work with. Number 5, control. Taking control in the home and creating a structure, selling them what they can get, not necessarily always what they want. And the last thing I'll say, 1 of 2 people get sold in an appointment, don't let it be you. So, when I'm walking up to a house, confident, good posture, knocking on the door, walking in, walking to the table. Bob, Mary, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Steve. Pleasure to meet you both. So, first of all, here's my card. I'm a broker. I work with different insurance companies. I do final expense insurance, mortgage protection insurance, and different types of retirement. So tell me who the smart one was that filled out the form and sent it.
That was me. I was worried about what would happen if I was left with a mortgage, being able to keep up with the payments.
Makes sense. It's always the wife that's the smart one. Go figure. You look pretty smart.
Always the firm.
Have you had anybody in either of your lives pass away recently that, this kind of came to light?
Yeah, my aunt a few months ago died in a car wreck.
Sorry to hear that. Did she have coverage?
No, my cousins had to do a few GoFundMes to pay for a funeral.
We're going to make sure that, we set you up better, for your future as well. For yourself, anybody?
Well, we have a history of insurance in our family. It's just one of those things that Mary has talked to me about, and I'm really stubborn about it, so I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you having me over. We're going to make this super simple. It's a very, very simple and easy process. We're going to basically go through your health history. We're going to go through some of your finance, because the goal is ultimately even bigger than the mortgage, is to look at how we can put you in a better situation long term in your finances when the day comes, which you obviously will. All right. Also, the whole process, we're going to go through all that stuff, and then I'm going to ask for your bank accounts, socials, beneficiaries, because we're going to put in a request for coverage with one of the 20 plus A-rated carriers I work with. And we're going to basically, what we're trying to see here today, I'm the middleman, is to see who will cover you. And then the goal is what's going to fit you. So I'm your friend on the budget. We all have it. I have 2 kids, and I'm not sure. Make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So Bob, I have you down here, date of birth 4/3/57. So that would make you 65.
That's correct.
Cool. And Mary, we have you 50/5/5/72.
That's right.
Perfect. So the first question is, how did you pull that off with a 15-year younger wife?
Lucky, I guess.
There you go. I thought it was your handsome good looks. How did you pull it off?
Prayer.
Don't do it.
I like her.
It's fun. All right, so now on your mortgage, how many years have you lived here?
I think it's been about 5 years.
5 years, so you refinanced.
Yes.
Cool. So I have down, you have $200,000 left on the mortgage. What did they appraise the value?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think that's $330,000.
All right, so you got about $130K of equity, which is great. We're going to put that in our back pocket and go back to that later. So the thing I like to focus on is that loss of income in addition to the mortgage, because the mortgage is a part of your finances, but it's not the whole thing. So we want to focus on everything as it pertains. So let's jump into the health. Ever anything major for you, Bob? Heart, stroke, cancer, anything?
Well, I take blood pressure around 5 years ago, I had a stroke.
Got it.
Recovering now, about 5 years ago.
Doing well with it?
Yes.
Good. You look like you're active in your workout.
Try to.
Cool. I get up at 4 and work out, so I'm going to call you. We can work out together. That'd be pretty close. That sound fair?
Yes.
Cool. And for you, Mary?
Just some blood pressure medication.
Okay, excellent. All right, so what do you have in the way of other life insurances that are private outside of work?
Nothing outside of work. I just have a work policy through my job.
Okay, cool. And what do you think you roughly pay for?
I think it's about $100 a month.
Okay, excellent. You know the coverage now, roughly?
I don't.
It's probably like one time your salary. Still.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And for you, my friend?
Well, we have $100,000 term policy. I'm not too familiar with it. $100,000 we pay like $100 a month for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you know when it expires?
I want to say 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. All right.
years.
Excellent. All right, cool. What do you have other than the life insurance that would pass on in the event of death?
I have an old 401k account with my previous employer, and I have a new 401k now.
Okay, awesome.
And I have retirement that I think is capped for the most part. Too much about it?
Got it. Like a pension?
Yes.
Okay. So typically, most pensions that I see don't pass on. We can double check that, but that's kind of typical and standard. All right, so let's go through budget next. Bob, you're still working?
Yes.
Excellent. What do you do?
A little of this and a little of that. No, freelance work, make around 2,500.
Okay, so 25, cool. For yourself?
I'm a teacher, and I bring home around $2,500 as well.
Okay, excellent. So 5,000 total income, great. What would you say now is the new monthly mortgage payment since you refinanced?
I believe it's around $2,000.
Okay. And we won't dig 100% deep into this, but if I looked at your expenses, what would you say outside of the mortgage or your outgoing expenses?
What do you think?
I think in total it's close to about $4,500.
Okay, cool. So safe to say we're saving about $500 a year.
Yeah.
And when I always say that with clients, I want to go off of your worst month.
Okay.
If you needed new tires. So let's even say we cut out $200 in the worst month.
Okay.
That sound fair?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so here's what I kind of recommend. What I would do in your case, Bob, I would either replace the term now with a permanent insurance that's going to protect the equity of the house and payments that I'm going to go through. So I either replace it, or if it's in the budget, we add it to what you currently have, understanding that we know in 2 years we're losing the term. And at this point, a permanent whole life insurance is what we qualify for and would probably make sense. And what I would do in that case is I'm going to run some numbers. I'd look at covering about 15 months to about 20 months worth of your mortgage payment. I'll kind of explain why in a second. For you, Mary, because my goal is to kind of save you money and put you in a better spot, you're paying $100 on the work insurance. Most people that I meet that have work insurance, they'll get a private instead of the work. So now they own something. And now, in the future, when you retire, you don't have to worry about, hey, I'm going to lose it, or hey, it's going to go up crazy in the cost. That all makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so lots of options. So, looking at these options, and I'm going to read them out. I don't normally read them out. We have the full loan on you, Mary, on the term for $200,000, $214. We have 2/3 of the loan at about $162.88 a month, which is about $150. And then we have $100,000, we'll call it half the loan, $111.44. Those options all have a living benefit. So if you were to have a stroke or heart attack or something along those lines, now you have something you can pull money out of to use while you're alive to keep paying your bills, paying your mortgage, and really figure out what's next. And I typically recommend for my clients to do 30-year plans because my vision is long term. If you get something for 30 years, no matter what the death benefit is, it's taking in the duration. You're paying the same rate as a 50-year-old female the entire time. And now in 10 or 15 years, we don't have an expiring term. We have something that you locked in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does.
Now, the reason I typically go through full, half, and two-thirds of the loan with clients is because you have $130,000 of equity. So if something happened tomorrow and I handed you $100,000, now we have $100 in living benefit or death benefit. We have $100 plus we have $130 in equity. But let's do this equivalent. Let's say 10 years ago, your equity is higher, your mortgage is now lower, but your death benefit remains the same. So, long story short, over time, the policy gets better for you because your situation gets better. That all makes sense?
Yes.
Cool. So now, in the way of, for you, Bob, on the equity protection side, if I hand Mary 20 months or almost 2 years of the mortgage payment in a lump sum of money, you have two options. You're either going to fix up the house and sell it and get whatever obviously the value is at that point, or like some people, leverage the equity. Plus, you have the 2 years that it's going to help you keep paying, and now you can pretty much refinance the house, lower it, which counteracts the loss of his income and losing his pension. So I know I threw a lot. Does that kind of make some sense?
It makes sense.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Because again, the goal is the long-term vision of we're losing income in either way, and we're also losing pension. So if we lose you at 65, gosh, now we're losing that pension, we don't have it. We're going to have Social Security. And the way Social Security typically works, you're going to keep his, you're not getting one now for another, call it 15 to 17 years. Then you're not going to get one at that point. You're going to keep the higher one too. So if his is higher, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That was a lot of info.
Yes. Yes.
Talk to you. Okay, now, the other thing I want to touch upon before we kind of pick the option and apply would be going back to your own 401k. So, have you been watching the market?
Yeah, I have.
What is that making you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. I would agree. Most clients I meet with right now are crazy uncomfortable. So what we can do when we're done with these insurance applications and making sure that's done, if you have a statement, I can look at it, I can go back to my team, and we can figure out what's the best option to put it into something safe. So this way, if the market goes down and you're in a product that the money will never go down and it stayed flat, you're really protecting your retirement for the long haul, and then you have the other new one that you're funding. So, based on those options, what do you think combined would be the most comfortable in your budget?
I think the bottom one for him and the middle one for me.
Got it. I like people starting low, and here's why. One, I'm going to be your agent for life, so hopefully you like me. If you don't, I'm going to have to find you another one after I get you the insurance, but hopefully you like me. Most people start low, take the approval while they're healthy enough to get it. Every year, we're going to follow up with you, and we're going to see, hey, is there something better we can do, add it, change it, what have you. I'm always getting new companies that I'm working with, and there's always new products coming out. So now we're going to do the application. I'm going to need the driver's license, the banking information, the beneficiary. We're going to submit it, and we're going to see if the company's going to come out.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Follow her lead.
So, the goal here, and thank Bob and Mary, because they did an amazing job. The goal, the biggest thing to me in the in-home that I mentioned earlier was selling people on what they can get, not necessarily what they want. And I threw that wrinkle in there of his health because everybody wants, hey, I want to cover the full mortgage, or I want to get living benefits. And notice I didn't really talk about a lot of living benefit stuff because I didn't want to throw it out there early on. You get excited about it, and then we can't get it. So I want to go through the process, letting them understand what they can get and how it's going to work for them. To me, emotion is huge. So talking about, did someone ever die, right? And getting them to talk about it, and getting them to talk about if they have insurance. And also letting them know we're not going to let it happen, and we're going to kind of move forward with the process. I thank you guys very much. You're the best Bobby Mayer ever.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys.